Association for details. On your side, this is News 12 First at 5.
Starting off with the latest on the investigation in a crash on I-20 that left one dead. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office has arrested a driver involved in that crash.
Deputies arrested Roy Smith today. They say he was the driver of a tractor-trailer involved in the 9-car crash yesterday where one person was killed. He's being charged with homicide by vehicle, driving too fast for conditions, and following too closely.
Georgia State Patrol is handling the investigation into the deadly crash that happened yesterday afternoon. We are waiting to see the arrest report. Of course, we'll let you know as soon as we get that.
That crash yesterday was one of 2 crashes where people lost their lives along this stretch of road. Hours before the second crash, 2 Atlanta area deputies lost their lives on I-20 eastbound about 10 miles away.
This morning, the bodies of deputies Anthony White and Kenny Ingram were returned home. A procession of law enforcement vehicles escorted them. Meanwhile, this morning, 2 more people were hurt in an accident at that very same exit where those deputies lost their lives. It's just another crash adding to a history of accidents on that very part of the interstate.
And there is construction nearby. Our Nick Photo is live for us along I-20. Nick, you look into the crash history from that area. Tell us what you found.
Well, as you guys said, this exit has been the crash scene for 2 accidents in the last 2 days. In total, in the last 3 years, GDOT says there have been 337 accidents on a 15-mile stretch from here at exit 190 in Grovetown down to exit 175 in Thompson. GDOT also says the crash that killed the 2 Fulton County deputies yesterday was one of 5 fatal accidents on that stretch in the past 3 years. 3 of those accidents have come in the past 2 weeks. I spoke to a former deputy who used to work in this area. He says speeding and people changing lanes last minute have always caused accidents here, but he says it's gotten much worse than when he left the force about 10 years ago. GDOT tells me they're working on a lane widening project here at Lewiston Road in response to the growth Columbia County has seen. They say safety is always a top priority, and they're just encouraging drivers to be aware and alert in construction zones. Now, coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we look more into that report GDOT sent us and what other projects they're working on.
You have to slow down along that busy stretch, Nick. Thanks very much. New this afternoon, bond denied for a former Bamberg County Council chairman charged with criminal sexual misconduct involving minors. The solicitor's office confirming bond was denied in a hearing today for this man, Trent Kennard. Kennard was arrested Friday and faces multiple charges, including criminal sexual conduct with a minor, dissemination of an obscene material, assault, and battery. SLED investigated the case at the request of the Bamberg Police Department.
The Burt County Sheriff's Office says 2 people are behind bars in a shooting and robbery last week. Deputies have arrested Kalia Fields and Bromicus Anthony in connection with the shooting. Both are being charged with armed robbery, aggravated assault, and kidnapping. Deputies say the victim was taken to the hospital. His injuries not expected to be deadly.
Much more news ahead, but first a check of the weather with Chief Meteorologist Riley Hill. Riley, October is in the air, and the timing could not be better.
And it's actually feeling like October this time this year. If you remember, this time around 365 days ago, it was about 100 degrees out there, so luckily feeling much better this afternoon. We are not even reaching 80 degrees so far here at Augusta. We've been at 77 last hour or so, and most of us kind of hanging within that range of 75 to 80. 72 in Aiken, one of the cooler spots, 75 down there in Emmanuel County, so a little bit of a spread, but in general, just comfortable. Everybody, try to take advantage of this fantastic weather. If you're heading out this evening, we're expecting clear skies, temperatures falling into the 50s as we head into the overnight, and expecting this nice weather to stick around for us. Not quite as breezy this afternoon, but we are expecting another front to move through late tomorrow night. We'll have a look at it, see if that brings changes in just a little bit.
Not true. You're doing it.
That term starts in January.
A South Carolina raceway, now the home of a second NASCAR race, and it's expected to bring an economic boost. Race officials announcing a second NASCAR Cup Series coming to the Darlington Raceway next year. It'll start May the 9th, Mother's Day weekend. It's in addition to the Southern 500 already at that track. Governor McMaster says the new race means more economic opportunities for that area and the entire state.
3 words come to mind, and that is congratulations, thank you, and hallelujah. Watching those cars driven by extraordinary people go around that track, it occurred to me that they were accelerating about as fast as we are here in South Carolina.
Meanwhile, a Georgia racetrack also getting another Cup Series race. The Atlanta Motor Speedway is getting the Quaker State 400. That race was previously held in Kentucky.
There's another economic boost potentially coming to the Palmetto State. Boeing is setting plans to completely move its production of 787 Dreamliners to South Carolina, according to a new report. That move would end production of the jetliner at its plant in Washington State. A Boeing spokesperson said today it's studying the feasibility of a potential move. Boeing has recently cut back on its 787 production due to COVID.
And just into our newsroom, Georgia's governor just extended the executive order for statewide COVID-19 restrictions. This is the order that creates requirements for social distancing. It bans large gatherings. It creates COVID business restrictions. That order will now run through October the 15th. Governor Kemp also extended the state's public health emergency until November.
Looking at the latest COVID cases at our local... Coming back with a look over Augusta on a cool day, and look at that. Not a cloud in the sky. Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale is looking at these cooler temperatures. And Riley, it's feeling good out there.
Definitely does, Meredith, and we are going to continue to see very pleasant weather extended to the weekend and most of next week as well. Bluebird skies out there today, and we're not really expecting to see much in the way of clouds over the next several days in a row. We're in the mid to upper 70s across most of the region this afternoon. Clear skies thanks to high pressure sitting just off towards our southwest. So that's what's bringing us west to northwest winds today, anywhere from 5 to 10. Not too breezy, but this is the front that's going to move through Thursday night. Luckily, it is going to be a dry frontal passage, so not expecting rain, but we are going to be a little bit warmer tomorrow afternoon ahead of that front. Once that front moves through Thursday night into Friday morning, that's when we see some even cooler air moving Friday into the weekend. And even next week, we're expecting these below average temperatures to continue. Mix of mid to upper 70s currently this afternoon. Not too much of a spread out there. 73 in Edgefield, 77 in Louisville, and Gibson coming in at 74. We do have a big moon out there the next couple of nights. Officially, the full moon is tomorrow night, but it will look pretty much completely full out there tonight. Moonrise is at 7:02 p.m. So remember, at moonrise, that's when it's just kind of barely creeping over the horizon. They want to wait until around 8:15, 8:30, or excuse me, 7:15, 7:30 for it to get a little bit higher in the sky so you can see it. Now, after 8:30, that's when you'll be able to see Mars as well. That's going to be hanging out close to the moon if you look towards the eastern sky anytime before midnight tonight. Now, temperature-wise tonight, we're expected to be mid to low 50s for most of us. And believe it or not, actually this morning we got into the upper 40s out at Bushfield right around sunrise. Tomorrow afternoon is going to be a little bit warmer for us, 83 for a high here in Augusta, but in general just expecting a cooler outlook Friday into the weekend and staying dry as well. So you may have to cut those sprinklers back on. Not much rain in the forecast past this weekend, and actually most of next week looking dry as well. Any plans to head out to those football games on Friday evening? We're expecting game time temps near 70, cooling off to close to 60 by the time we get to the end of those. And clear skies, light winds, should be fantastic football weather out there on Friday. In the weekend, we're expecting those highs to remain below average, and Saturday morning will likely be the coldest morning over the next 7, to where some spots, hey, possibly flirting with the 40s out there, which we have not seen those temperatures here in Augusta in quite some time.
Yeah, answer that question.
I imagine there's a woman inside each of us. One without the doubts of self-expression. One with the confidence to seize the day. One who isn't afraid to fall in love. She is beautiful the way she is. And her jewelry from Windsor is just a reminder.
The White House. And in a statement, the Commission on Presidential Debates said it will soon announce some changes to the debate format to ensure a more orderly discussion of the issues. Both presidential contenders will face off again in 2 weeks in a town hall style debate. Some breaking news to pass along. We are learning about a traffic slowdown right here at I-20. We're taking a look from our news station, but you can see all of those vehicles at a standstill right there to the right of your screen and towards the top. Dispatch tells us eastbound lanes are closed. A lot of vehicles are involved in this crash. Not too sure of the injuries and how severe this is at this point, but it's shutting eastbound on the on-ramp from Riverwatch all the way down. You can kind of see some slowdowns, people taking another route, but if you are heading that way right near the state line, over near Costco, really, just maybe look for a different way to get around all of that. Sunday's NFL game between the Tennessee Titans and Pittsburgh Steelers is postponed. Yesterday, the league announced multiple players and staffers tested positive, and their training facilities are shut down until at least Saturday.
And it's not an ideal situation, but like I said, this is the hand that we're dealt, and we have to do whatever it takes to get ourselves ready to play. Whenever the league says the game will take place, then we have to be ready to play as soon as we step on that field. No matter what kind of obstacles and circumstances we have to overcome.
They plan to do some more testing, and depending on what they find, they'll decide when the game can safely be rescheduled. In 3 days, the Zog fire out in California has grown to over 50,000 acres, claiming nearly 150 homes and buildings and 3 lives so far. This is in Northern California, and during the first 2 days, strong north winds have fueled the flames, making it really tough for those fire crews. Right now, the fire is just 7% contained.
Mother Nature gave us a break, and we didn't have those big north winds that we saw in the last couple of days. So I think in the next few days, you're going to see some of that containment levels come up.
Across the state of California, more than 20 massive wildfires are burning right now. Closer to home, a look for you at the latest coronavirus numbers in the 2 states today. 1,700 more cases and 29 more deaths since yesterday in Georgia. There have been 200 more cases reported in South Carolina, and 21 more people have died since yesterday in South Carolina. If you walk around Walmart in circles, overwhelmed where you should find a spatula, you're probably not alone. The company is redesigning its stores and its app to try to help you out. The stores are getting organized. They're putting up big signage all across the stores, and they're hoping the app can point you in the right direction for what you're looking for, and even help you check out and pay without having to track down an employee. The redesign will roll out to 200 U.S. stores by the end of the year and 1,000 more by the end of 2021. Hopefully I'll be able to find something. Still doubtful. We all get them. We wish they would stop. We're going to tell you how you can end campaign robocalls in 90 seconds.